Auditor duty. The following are the important duty of the auditor. Compliance with the Nbfc auditors reports of RBI direction. The RBI directions as considerably increase the responsibility of auditors of Nbfc. A very erroneous task of reporting to the board of directors of certain specific manner and RBI on the exemption basis has been imposed upon them. The reporting requirement is addition to the normal reporting requirement to the shareholders and 143 companies under certain auditor will have to very carefully whitelist carrying out the audit of Nbfc to ensure that all the matters which may be required to take into consideration for the purpose of reporting to the RBI has been taken due care. Section 45ME of the Reserve Banks of India Act 1934 that introduced effective on the 13th and 11th December 1974 under the provision of the auditor of a non-banking financial company and non-banking financial miscellaneous company which has accepted public deposit has to inquire whether or not the company has furnished to the Reserve Bank of India statements information of particular related to deposits or be required to be furnished under the section chapter 3B of the Reserve Bank of India 1934. The provision further states that if an inquiry the auditor is not satisfied about the complaints by the company, it is a duty to make to the Reserve Bank of India giving the aggregate amount of deposit held by the bank. Auditor is also required to incorporate report intended to make to the Reserve Bank of India in this report to the company under section 143 of the Companies Act. Report to the Board of Directors under RBI direction as per the Master Direction number DNPS PPT 0366 15001 to 1617 September 29, 2016. The Reserve Bank of India has issued non-banking financial company auditors report directions to the 16th auditor of every non-banking financial company. The direction shall apply to every auditor of non-banking financial company as defined under 45 IF of the Reserve Bank of India Act 1934. The auditor submit additional report to the Board of Directors in addition to the report made by the auditor under Section 140 of the Companies Act 2013 and 027 of the Companies Act 1956 on the accounts of non-banking financial company examined of every financial year ending on any day or after the commencement of these directions. Auditors shall make a separate report to the Board of Directors of the company in the matter specified in para 3 and 4. Material to be included in the auditor's report to the Board of Directors. Auditor reports to the accounts of non-banking financial company shall include statements of following matters, namely, in the case of non-banking financial company conducting non-banking financial activity including valid certificate of registration granted by the RBI and offences in Chapter 4 of RBI 1934. Therefore, if the company is engaged in the business of non-banking financial companies defined 45(1)(a) of the RBI Act and meeting the principal business criteria, financial assets and income patterns as laid down the RBI press release dated April 8, 1999, direction issued by the DNBR auditor shall examine whether the company has obtained certificate of registration from the RBI. In the case of company holding company of registration issued by the RBI, whether the company is intended to continue to hold such COA in terms of principal business criteria, financial asset and income pattern as on 31st March applicable year. Whether the non-banking financial company is meeting that requirement, net owned fund required as laid down by the master direction. The non-banking financial company, non-systematic important non-deposit taking company, Reserve Bank direction 2016 and master direction non-banking financial company, systematic important non-banking take the company and deposit taking company direction 2016. Every non-banking financial company shall submit a certificate of the statutory auditor that is engaged in the business of non-banking financial company required to hold a certificate of registration under Section 45(1)(a) of RBI Act and eligible to hold it. Certificate from statutory auditor is respect of the reference to the position of the company as at the end of the financial year ended 31st March may submit to the original office of the Department of Non-Banking Financial Supervision and the direction jurisdiction of non-banking financial company in this register. Within 1 month from the date of this finalization of the balance sheet on the end date of December 31st of the year. The format of statutory auditor for certificate SAC to be submitted by the Nbfc has been issued via DNPS PPT 0266 1501 to 1617 Master Directions and Non-Banking Financial Company Returns Direction 06. In the case of non-banking financial company accepting holding public deposit, Apart from the matter of an curated A above, the auditor shall include a statement of following matters, namely whether the public deposit accepted by the company together with the other borrowing indicate below we ask is from the public by issuing unsecured non-convertible debenture bonds from its shareholder, but if it's a public limited company and in entries which are not excluded from the definition of post deposit of non-banking financial company acceptance of public deposit Reserve Bank Direction 2016 are within the limit of admission to the company as per the provision of non-banking financial company acceptance of public deposit Reserve Bank of India Direction 2016 where the public deposit held by the company is excess of the quantum of such deposit permissible in such provision of non-banking financial company acceptance of public deposit, Reserve Bank of Direction 2016 was regularized by the manner provision by said action. Whether the non-banking financial company is accepting public deposit without a minimum investment grade certificate rating from approved credit rating agency as per the provision of non-banking financial company accepting public deposits Reserve Bank Direction 2016 whether the capital adequacy ratio is disclosed in the return submitted by the bank in terms of non-banking financial company and systematically important non-bank non-deposit taking company and deposit taking company have been correctly determined and there are such ratios compliance with the minimum CRAR prescribed therein. The respect of non-banking financial company refers in the clause 3 above. By the credit rating for each of the fixed deposit scheme that has been assigned by one of the credit rating agency listed in the non-banking financial company acceptance of public deposit Reserve Bank of Direction 16 in force. When the aggregate amount of deposit outstanding at any point during the year has exceeded the limit specified by the cash rate agency, whether the bank has violated any restriction on acceptance of public deposit on the provision of non-banking financial company acceptance of public deposit and Direction 2016, whether the company has defaulted in paying the deposit, the interest, or the principal amount of the deposit, or after such interest or the principal being due whether the company has complied with the prudential norms on the income recognition, accounting standards, asset classification, provided of bad and doubtful debts, and concentration of credit investment specified in the direction issued by the bank in terms of the master direction, non-banking financial company, systematic important and non-deposit taking company, and deposit taking company, Reserve Bank direction. The company has complied with the liquid assets required as prescribed by the bank in exercise of the power under Section 45 IB of the RB Act, whether the detail of the designation bank in which approved securities are held is communicated to the office commenced by the RBI in terms of NBS 3. Non-banking financial company returns Direction 16. Whether the company has furnished to the RBI within the stipulated period the return on the deposit as specified in NBS 1 to non-banking financial company return Direction 16. The company has furnished the RBI within the stipulated period the quarterly return on prudent norm as specified in the non-banking financial company return 16. In the case of opening new branches, offices to conduct deposits, or in the case of closure of existing branches, officers in the case of appointment of agency, the company has complied with the requirement contained non-banking financial company acceptance of public deposit Direction 16. In the case of non-banking financial companies not accepting public deposit, but the Board of Directors passed resolution for non-acceptance of public deposit. Board resolution. The company has accepted any board public deposit in the relevant period. The company is complying with the prudent norms regarding the income recognition, accounting standard, asset classification, provision of bad debts, doubtful debts, and applied in the terms of non-banking financial company, non-systematic importance, and non-deposit taking company, Reserve Bank Direction 2060. On non-banking financial company, systematically important non-bank, non-deposit taking company, and deposit taking company, Reserve Bank Direction 2060. Respect of systematically important non-deposit taking Nbfcs are defined in the non-banking financial company, systematically important non-deposit taking company, deposit taking company, Reserve Bank of India Action 2016. The capital adequacy ratio is disclosed in the return submitted by the RBI. NBS 7 has been correctly arrived, and which is a ratio is compliant with the minimum CRAR capital adequacy reserve ratio prescribed by the RBI. Whether the company has furnished to the RBI annual statements in the capital funds, risk asset exposures, and risk asset ratio NPS 7 within the stipulated period. Whether the non-banking financial company has a correctly classified NBFC micro-financial institution as defined with the non-banking financial company, non-systematically important non-deposit taking companies, Direction 16, and non-banking financial company, systematically important non-deposit taking company, and deposit under the Companies Act, Direction 16. In the case of company engaged in the business of non-banking financial institution, not requiring to hold COR specific subject to certain conditions. Apart from the matter in the above, where the company has obtained specific advice from the RBI that it is not required to hold COR from the RBI, the auditor shall include a statement that company has complied with the condition stipulated advised by the RBI. Reason to be stated for unfavorable or qualified statement. Whether the auditor report statement regarding any of the items referred in the para 3 above is unfavorable or qualified, the auditor report shall also state the reason for such unfavorable qualified statement. As the case may be, whether the auditor is unable to express any opinion on any of the items referred in the para 3 above, this report shall indicate such fact together in the reason therefore. Obligation of auditor to submit on exceptions report to the RBI. So, the obligation of auditor to submit an exception report to RBI, where the case of non-banking financial company statement regarding any of the items referred to the paragraph 3 above unfavorable or qualified in the opinion of the auditor of the company has been not complained with. The provision of the Chapter 3A RBA Act or non-banking financial company accepting public deposit reserve bank non-banking financial company, non-systematically important non-deposit taking company reserve bank direction, non-banking financial company systematically important non-deposit taking company or deposit taking companies are direction 16. It shall be obligated for the auditor to take in a report containing details of such unfavorable or qualified statement or above the non-compliance as the case may be respect of the company to the concerned regional office of the Department of Non-Banking Companies of the RBA under those jurisdiction of the register office of the company is located as per the first schedule of the non-banking financial company except for the public deposits of the bank. Duty of the auditor under this para shall be report only the contravention of the provision of RBA Act 1934 and direction and guidelines instruction referred to the subsections 1 and other report shall not contain any statement which respect of complaints of any other provisions. Complaints with CARO 2020.